Hey family, it's Pastor Trev and Pastor Shondell, and we want to welcome you to another clarifying conversation. We take just a moment to bring clarity to the things that are going on at Koinonia with all of the ministry opportunities, outreach initiatives, kingdom impact that we make. Sometimes it can be a lot of information. So we take a moment to bring some clarity, hopefully helping you to get more involved with what it is that's going on. We always quote Apostle Ivy here, who says, where there's clarity of vision, there's acceleration toward the known goal. And after this conversation, we hope that you will speed up and get involved in what God has going on in and around Koinonia. Pastor Shondell.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. And you know, even as you were introducing, I was like, man, I can't believe we're actually around the corner. I'm telling you, I always say that it seems like, I remember when I was a kid and older people would say, you know, time flies and things like that. And I was like, well, it don't seem like it for me, because I remember like Christmas, I wanted to come quicker.
Right.
I'm telling you, it seemed like time is just moving faster. I know it's the same rate, but our experience, man, is moving a whole lot faster.
I get it. It's like we was just at watch night and that we had Easter last week.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about family and friends.
Yeah, it's that time of year, man.
Yeah.
It's that time of year. And I'm glad we're talking about it early, because I think it's one of those things that is such a big deal, and because we know it's coming, it's easy to let it just show up, and you're not playing in terms of like preparing for family and stuff like that. So I'm glad we're talking about it early.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so for those who don't know, family and friends is what we call one of our most sacred worship encounters of the year. It's the presentation of family, based out of Zechariah, I believe is chapter 14, verse 17, where God called the children of Israel to come up and present themselves as families. And Bishop has always taught us the sacredness of this moment as not just individually. I think we can get caught up with our iPhones, iPads, not a knock on.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit. but it's so individualistic, you know, and sometimes we forget that God set the solitary in families. That's in terms of church, but also our traditional families. And so this is where we present ourselves before God, where we acknowledge that we need him. Yeah. We have to have him, and not just in emergencies, but just overall on an ongoing, everyday basis. We need God in our family.
Yeah. I think that's good. And you said, I think it's good that you're mentioning that it's family and friends.
Yeah.
Because even as I know we'll talk about the breakdown on the weekend, but you know, even as we look at who we bring to present themselves. Yeah. And what Pastor always teaches, Bishop always teaches, that, you know, friends are the family that you choose. Yeah. You know, your blood family, that's who you're born with. Yeah. But they're friends and things that you bring to present yourself with as well. You know, I think about even us, you know, we come and you know, we'll sometimes do one encounter with our blood family. Yeah. We have another encounter when we go together and present ourselves before the Lord. So it's a good weekend. It just reminds you of the importance of family and friends and what really matters. Yeah.
You know, I think even hearing you say that, sometimes we wonder, well, how do we get a bond, or how we build a bond? And it is through spending time together and things of that nature. But we can't dismiss what God does when we present ourselves before our families, and the supernatural things that take place in our hearts in those moments that cause us to have the things we experience, you know, outside of the sanctuary. Yeah. I remember us doing that, but now that you bring it up, I'm like, well, Lord, that is part of the reason why the bonds have formed, and we have the relationship that we have. Although we have different last names, we couldn't be any closer. Right. Blood couldn't make us any closer. Yeah. And so that just really does speak to the spiritual, supernatural thing that God does in that moment when we present ourselves before him.
Yeah, and who would have known? Because I think obviously we benefit from it, we enjoy it, but I think there's a sense of purpose that comes as well, that you experience with your family, your friends. You know, when you present yourself together, you're reminded that we have a common bond and a common calling. Yeah. And that just, it makes a difference. It does. It makes a difference because you have something that connects you outside of just the random happenings and occurrences of life. You know? And so it's a good time. It's a good time.
You know, one of the things I think that is so cool that I've seen is you see families, then you see friends that are the family we choose. But I get a kick out of watching teammates do this.
Oh yeah,
we've seen the Pitt community basketball team come,
and they're coming back this year.
Yes,
Coach said he's gonna be there.
We've had high school football teams to come. I think Tarboro was talking about coming this year. Okay, to be a part of it. because they spend a lot of time together, and they really do preach brotherhood and family and things of that nature. But to see them come and present themselves for something that has a spiritual nature to it, I mean, it just, again, God does something amazing on those Sundays.
Yeah. And what an opportunity, I think, especially, I mean, we got coaches listening to this. I just think, what an opportunity to be a witness to your
absolutely.
To allow them to experience something that we know is a critical part of life. Like our eternity is our relationship with God. And I mean, to be able to share that with people that you coach and mentor, it's just a perfect opportunity. You don't only have to build it up. Once you come and experience that and they're together in that moment, that becomes an experience that I think teams, families, friends will always remember. So it makes that a special time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, it's not just that. We've been talking about the presentation of families that take place on the Sunday, but this is a whole weekend. And we kick it off on that Friday with a movie night at 6 p.m. in the Journey. I don't think the movie has been decided yet. Not yet. But it's going to be, again, a great opportunity to bond and connect and to create memories. I think that's one of the big things about the weekend is that you have the opportunity to make memories with your family. Having one of the things we do at the church is I work with families who have family members to transition. And oftentimes in helping them prepare for the arrangements, we sit down at the table and we talk about life and things of that nature. And they bring up, I've seen two situations. I've seen them have conversations where they have little to say and they never really had made time to make memories. And then I've seen meetings go on for an hour and a half when all they're talking about are the memories and things they've created and the opportunities they've had to connect and bond with each other. And this weekend is one of those opportunities to create lasting memories with your family. And so Friday night, that movie night, is a great opportunity to do that.
It really is. And now, so confession, right? So I remember in particular last year when we were doing the movie night, a part of me was thinking, are people really going to come, to see a movie? And I think it was because during the pandemic, of course, nobody was going to the movies. And then it seems like, I'm an action movie kind of person, and it hadn't been as many action movies going on. And I was like, well, what is even out there, in terms of movies that people will come to see? And I think when I actually came and saw like the red carpet and the popcorn and the families and the atmosphere, it was a reminder that it's not just about the movie.
That's right.
The movie is just, it's something that we're doing together, but it's the fact that we're together, like that you're with family, with friends, and you're not in the worship encounter. Like you have time to talk to people and laugh together and experience something together. And it was just a reminder that, just like you said, it is an experience and it's a memory that people will look back on. It really is a special night. And so that's my confession, because I was like, are people really going to come to church to see a movie, especially if they could probably look at it at home. But it's not just watching the movie; it's doing it with family and doing it with friends. So I just think that was a special moment and a reminder of the significance of the moment and not just the substance of it.
Absolutely. Very well said. And the team does a great job in creating an environment that will be enjoyable for all ages. Like I said, they roll out the red carpet literally. Some good popcorn, good snacks, and just a really good time in the Journey.
Then Saturday. So Saturday's a big day. Saturday we have Family Day, and it's going to be at Boyd Lee Park. And I said, what time is that?
That's 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Winterville, North Carolina.
And so I think with that's a day where we have like rides. We got to have food. Kickball, softball. Last year we had a discovery that the golf cart just driving around became like a ride for people. You got areas for kids to enjoy and things like that. And I thought the nice thing about having it on Saturday and having it at the park is it's a little different from how we've done it historically. We've done it in the past on the campus of KCC when we got plenty of room to do it. But going to the park is different, because we still invite people, but people who are at the park see it, and we're in, I hate to say their space, but we're in the community already. And so, we found last year where people would be walking around the park, or they were coming anyway, and they saw that we were having a family fun day, and they were like, hey, is there a charge for this? And it's just nice to be able to say, no, come on over. It is like a family reunion. It's a family fun day, and I guess we talked about what do you call it, family fun day? Do you call it family reunion? And we didn't say reunion because we didn't want people to feel like it was people who already knew each other.
Right.
But there is a part of a family reunion where you go to it and you have family that you didn't realize that you're related to.
That's good.
And so, I don't know, maybe it is a family reunion, but it's family day in the park. And we have an opportunity to connect with each other, but also people that we didn't know were a part of the family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I enjoyed everything from cornhole. They get out there and dance.
Yeah.
The kids have a good time. Adults are trying to hand that kickball. You have little spades going on, throwing footballs. And then, last year I called a little flack because, we filmed this commercial in the gym. And so, of course, we're going to film the commercial.
I got
to make it, So they came for me on social media. Well, how many times did it take you to make that shot? So I felt some type of way about that thing. But it's always a good time. And to watch our young people get in the gym and some of the old heads to get out there, see can they recover some of those glory days. It's a great opportunity. Seeing the different ages come together, young and old. It's just a great day to make memories. I'm a big picture taker, so I'm really big on, hey, let's take pictures, let's capture the memories. But it is a great day for us to reconnect and also to see each other outside of church.
Right.
Church is a part of our life, a necessary part of our life. But to have an opportunity to connect outside of the four walls of the church and see each other in different lights. It's huge. It's huge. And even seeing Pastor had the golf cart on two wheels.
Just enjoying it. Speeding on the thing.
So it's really, really a good day. And like we said, just invite people. Like, you don't have to be a member to come to this. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to have a name on the road. Just come and be a part and experience what Koinonia really is.
Definitely.
And then the culmination, the climax, really what it is that we gather for is the presentation of families that takes place on that Sunday. And we have 3 worship encounters, 7:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 12:30 p.m. And so it is a worship encounter where we have, the word, singing, worship, things of that nature. But then after Bishop preaches, we come together and we literally come up to the front and present our families before God and have a family prayer prayed over each family unit. And kind of like we said earlier, is one of the most sacred worship encounters we have, and it is a very special time for each family that participates in this way.
And that moment means something, and that really is, like you said, that's the climax of the weekend, because you had an opportunity to fellowship, to laugh, to create memories, but it is sealed at that moment. It's just such a special time. And I think the older I get, the more I understand the significance behind it. It is it's you're presenting yourself. When you read in Zechariah, it was like God was having his people present themselves, and even the people that were outside of the camp would come and present themselves to say, hey, I'm with you. I'm with, I'm with the people of God. I'm with God. I'm one of his people. It said for those families that don't present themselves, there will be no rain. And you can look at the negative side of that, but what does that mean for those of us who present ourselves? That when we present ourselves, when we present our families, that it says, God, I'm here for you to bless our family, for you to reign on our family. And it's a special moment, because I think it opens the door for things like forgiveness and restored relationships and the ability to witness to family members who normally wouldn't come to church, but you're able to say, hey, we've got this. This is a special time when all our family comes. It's like, this is what you're supposed to do. You got to be here. I know you don't normally go to church, but this is what our family does. And it becomes so many things at one time. Is time of restoration. And it's just so many things, And I even thinking about it, I think, if I could tell people anything about this weekend, it would be just don't miss that Sunday.
Right.
I know now we'll talk about our virtual options and things like that, but man, if you can be here in person, it is. I don't want to make the virtual sound any less, any less powerful, but there is a part of the experience when you come in person with your family, when you gather in a circle, when someone, as you present your family, prays over and with your family. when you're holding hands and a blessing is declared over your family.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a moment.
Yeah.
It's a moment. It's like, a picture I had in my mind was like a wedding. It is just it's that, at a wedding, you've already pretty much signed that marriage license a lot of times in advance. And so on paper, you've done everything, you're married, but there's something about the proclamation over your family that it just makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a special moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said, excuse me, for those of us who do it every year, that we don't become robotic.
Right.
And then say, I'm gonna take a year off, or I'm not gonna invite or go after my family as fervently as I have before. But I don't want us to become robotic.
Yeah.
For some, it's going to be a new thing. They're calling their families in, they're excited about it. But for those of us who have done it for a while, I really want us to shake ourselves and be aware of what God wants to do in those times, and many times we have sown seeds. Right. We've sown seeds, calls and texts and things of that nature. And God can do something in a moment, in an instant, in that weekend, to water it in such a way that really you begin to see the manifestation of what it is you've been praying for. And like, one of the things you said about how it's an avenue for forgiveness. Yeah. God really does something in people's hearts, whether it's forgiveness, breaking chains, mending, whatever it is. He does something throughout that weekend and in that moment. Yeah. Like you said, I'm not trying to minimize the virtual spot. And I believe the virtual space is for those who cannot. Right. You cannot get here. That's what the virtual option is for. Right. But if you can make it, make every effort to be here. Yeah, definitely. I think we should, that's okay to say. Yeah. Make every effort to be in the place on that Sunday, because God is going to do something amazing in your family and in your heart. Yeah. As you were saying, I thought, the invitation, that's the action we need to reap the harvest that we've been believing for. Yeah. And, like you said, you have been praying for that family member, that neighbor, or that friend, and the harvest is ripe. Yeah. But that invitation becomes that opportunity you've been waiting on. Yes. To say, and what a way to say it. You can say, hey, you know what? We have this thing in our church. It's called Presentation to Families, and our Family and Friends Weekend. Yeah. And I consider you someone that's close to our family. And you can't say no to that. I mean, you almost can't say no to say, hey, I want you to be a part of this. It's like invite somebody to a wedding. You're just like, I want you to be up front. I got a special seat for you, And, to be able to, to invite somebody and invite them closer into your circle, knowing that Christ is at the center of that circle. Yeah. Man, that's the way to go. Yeah. That's the way to go. So it's going to be a great weekend. Yeah. Family and Friends 2024. Yeah. We got to talk about the virtual option. Yes. Now that you don't talk bad about now. What we found is during the pandemic, we couldn't get together face to face. And so we found out that we could get together on Zoom and do presentation to families. And so we had families to get together virtually, and we have the prayer partner to pray with that family. And what amazing feedback we got, because people were joining in not only from North Carolina, but in other states, other regions, other countries, other time zones. And it allowed for people who normally just, of course, could not get here. There's no way to still be involved and be connected. And so it was a rocket. It was an unexpected success. And so since then, we've added the virtual option to the Presentation of Families to say, hey, even if you got some family here, all right, be there Sunday, present your family. But then this year in particular, that Monday and Tuesday afterward, those evenings, we're going to have time where you can get together with family members who couldn't be here. Yeah. Where you can sign up in advance for some times. You'll be able to sign up on the website, kccfamily.com, kccfamily.com. You'll be able to sign up. But then you'll have that same opportunity. Yeah. They would have heard the sermon that Sunday, and you have that same opportunity to present your family before the Lord. Yeah. And so it allows us to expand our reach. Right. And have that moment with those who otherwise couldn't experience it. Absolutely. Yeah. And so in that getting ready for the virtual option is you just need one family member to sign up. Right. And then they will send that information out to the rest of the family, and they come on. And another thing I believe that is a great it does something in the hearts of the family is that family offering. Yeah. Families have an opportunity to sow a seed as a family, and God just does something again in the hearts. And you'll be surprised who may give.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I have uncles and things of that nature, you know, that may not come to church right now.
Yeah.
But they get in on that offer, man.
Yeah.
And they want to be a part of what God is doing.
Yeah.
And they give and they sow, and it speaks to what God is doing in their hearts. They may not be where I want them to be at this very present moment, but it does say something. The Bible tells it in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. And so it speaks to what God is doing. So we never minimize the opportunity to give, because it is a reflection of what God is doing in a person's heart as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. As you said, I thought, you know, they're sowing where they really want their heart to be. You know, and so both virtual and in person.
Absolutely.
That family option. And so I'm glad you brought that up as well. That's a big part of it. Yeah.
So it's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm glad you reminded us. I'm looking forward to our time.
Yeah.
To present ourselves before the Lord as a family. And, you know, we didn't bring this up, but it just made me think about it, what it says to our kids. You know, what it says to our kids as we come together as a family. But even for, you know, Josh, Jessa, Christiana, you know, that's something they look forward to. So God forbid if we ever forgot, we'd be in trouble.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's, you know, I think it helps us, you know, I always say there's no manual that comes to raising kids.
Right.
Now we got the Bible. That's pretty, you know, but there's no one specific for Joshua or, you know, Jessa, Christiana, you know. And one thing I found though that works, if there was a manual, I would write this in it, is to have these type of experiences that are not just a vacation or not just to going to the sports game and things like that, but experiences that introduce them to spiritual moments.
Absolutely.
Where you engage with family and friends and your faith.
Absolutely.
That is something, because that's really what we want. I mean, you know, when they leave the house, we want them to take that with them.
Yeah.
And I believe that is the key to helping raise successful adults. It's putting that seed in there, and no matter what they do when they get older, they may go off. I pray not, but if perchance they went off and just went wild, I would feel confident knowing that seed is there. And there would be something that God could tug on, and something that we as parents could tug on and bring them back to center. And say, you know, I mean, because I'll use Christiana because I don't want to take it. But I mean, imagine if Christiana went and just got wild, you know. I feel like I would be able to say, hey, look, I know you out there going crazy right now, but you know we always come together.
Absolutely.
It becomes something that you always come back to.
Yes.
You know, that you center yourself around. And so I think that we were talking before about our favorite moments. I think for me, I don't know if it's as much a favorite moment or for me, the most important meaning of it is that it brings something that will center our family for now and for the future.
Yeah. Well, this has been good.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready for it. Listen, I hope you have enjoyed this time, because we certainly have. But we want to speak to you directly and say, hey, let's get ready to get our families together. Invite them to be a part of that Friday night, that movie night. Invite them to be a part of Saturday. And whatever you do, make sure that you lock in on one of the worship encounters, the 7:30 a.m., the 9:30 a.m., or the 12:30 p.m. And if you say, hey, PT, I can't get my whole family here, then make sure you go over to the website at kccfamily.com, select the time for that Monday or that Tuesday, and gather your family together for the presentation of families. All right. And let me say this one thing before I go. I want to encourage you. Don't give up on that hard case. There's somebody that you've been praying for. They may even be mad with you. They may not even be speaking right now. You can only control what you can control. I want you to put the invitation out there by faith. All right. Put the invitation out there. Invite them to come and to be a part. And I believe, and I stand in faith with you, that God will move on their hearts to come and be a part of what he's going to do this weekend for our presentation of family. Listen, on behalf of Bishop, Brother Torres, Pastor Shondell, the entire pastoral staff, and family of Koinonia, we love you, and we can't wait to see you for this year's Family and Friends Weekend.
Hey, so look, if you're still on the fence, we meant to let you know that whoever brings the most guests at any worship encounter, if you bring the most guests, we've got some KCC merchandise for you. So make sure you bring 20, 30, 40, 50 people, and we've got some stuff just for you.